Are the mic settings okay? All set? All right. Hello, everyone. Warm welcome. Welcome to GeekyAnts. Everybody who's here in this room and also everybody who has joined us online. My name is Yashasvi and I lead growth marketing at GeekyAnts. A little about GeekyAnts: we are a social first, community driven web and mobile app development company. We love talking about everything that's new in the world of web and mobile development. And we're also the early adopters of many such technologies. So we never lose an opportunity to discuss about what's new into the world of development. So today we have come up with this meetup where we are going to discuss about everything low code, no code tools. And we have a series of talks aligned for you. But before we go deep into that, I'd like to invite Sanket on the stage, who will set up the tone for us. A little about Sanket: he's like the simplest guy ever. Started coding at the age of 11 years old. Some of the best ideas from Geeky Ants were his brainchild. He keeps trying everything new in the world of design and code. And yes, he also heads us as our CEO. So, Sanket, stage is all yours.
Thank you so much for being so generous, Yashasvi. I won't brag, but I started coding way early. I think it was 6 or 7. But anyway, but yeah, thank you so much. I have to look into this camera because we have a lot of live people. I think a lot means 10, I guess. But anyway, yeah. Thank you so much, Yashasvi. That's me. That's how I look like. I'm Sanket, and I'm a designer developer, and I also co-founded this company, GeekyAnts, and I go by the Twitter handle Sanket Sahu. I can see one person who's not following me from this room. Go ahead and follow me. Just kidding. Great. So I love to build things. When I say build, there are two sides of it. One is make it beautiful and make it functional, and that's why I love design and code. And that's when you want to build apps, websites, you have to have a little bit of knowledge of design and code right now. And when we can skip the code part, that actually makes it no code. And that's why this perfectly sets the tone of this meetup, that going from design to straight away to real apps. And that also is my mission: empower everyone to build things. I know people who come to meetups and who are from GeekyAnts, they're already bored of these lines, but that's what it is. I keep saying that over and over again. And I also see people saying that over and over again, like Yashasvi just mentioned a few words. Then I guess Himanshu is also going to talk about that. And when we want to do this, we have built some tools and products. So the first one is Builder X, which is a design tool, which is a no-code tool, much like Figma. I mean, a little bit like Figma, not too much, but yeah, that's the tool, Builder X. And on the left side, you get a canvas. You can go ahead and design, much like Figma or any other design tool, and you get the code out of it. And that code is React and React Native, which can be consumed straight away uh, in mobile apps, web apps. So yeah, this is the tool that we built, and yeah, we also had a demo where we were running this on a simulator, and yeah, we're not actively maintaining this tool anymore, but we still are behind the same dream of empowering everyone to build things and building a tool or using a tool that helps you build without coding. The second one is a more of a developer inclined tool or library that we built, that's Native Base, which is a UI component library for React and React Native. This is a universal library. If you use Native Base, you can deploy your apps to Android, iOS, and web. This was our step one towards low code. So we are building on the layer 2 using native base that can enable non-coders to build web and mobile apps. And yeah, all these things are happening at GeekyAnts. And as Yashasvi mentioned, we are a social first community driven software company. We are more than 500 people strong. That happened last week. I'm very proud of it. And yeah, apart from the tools that you saw, we are a software services and a product company. But most of the revenue is generated by all the services that we do. So we have great clients. We build a lot of apps. Couple of them are MPL and Khata Book. Those are out of NDAs. That's why we can say that. And coming back to social first, we run a lot of meetup groups. The top one is React Native Bangalore, and then we have Flutter Bangalore. When then we have Svelte Bangalore. These are like developer-centric meetup groups. We have started non-technical and business meetup groups as well. But React Native Bangalore is the world's largest React Native meetup group. So yeah, this was the first one, in fact, that we started. Yeah, code of conduct, I think everyone knows it, and we have a small group of people, so we wouldn't have any problem, and people know each other. But yeah, these are the things that you should be doing and you should not be doing. Do not use any hate speech and inappropriate comments. Keep it light. Try to use gender neutral words. Try not to use guys. Okay. Be respectful. Refrain from using strong words. Keep politics out of the discussion, please. This is a space for growth and learning. Promote that, and yeah, get to know people around you. Don't be shy. This is the flow of the meetup. Host Yashasvi, then me. Then the first talk is by Himanshu. He's going to talk about the need for better app builders. Himanshu is also one of the guys who worked on Builder X. And then we have Saurav joining online. He's going to talk about the rise of citizen developers. I really wanted to meet Saurav today, but he's joining remotely. Anyway, I'll probably meet him in Kormangla someday. And then we have a break at 4 p.m., 15-minute short break, followed by Mayank speaking on potential of headless CMS as a low-code tool, and then followed by a panel discussion with the speakers. And then we party. All right, stay kind and humble, learn from each other, build great things. And yeah, that's me, Sanket Sahu. Thank you so much. Over to Yashasvi. Okay.
Thanks, Sanket. Yeah, just reiterating, let's keep our phones on silent mode so none of the talks get disrupted. And I think we are good to go with the first talk. I'd like to invite Himanshu on stage. Himanshu identifies himself as a lazy software developer who wants to eliminate boring development tasks. And as Sanket mentioned, he's already worked on Builder X, has a lot of experience with low code tools and building them. And other than that, Himanshu, in his free time, likes jumping into the YouTube rabbit hole. And today, the topic that he's going to speak on is the need for better app builders. So let's hear it from Himanshu.
Can you take this slide? History. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Himanshu. I'm a software engineer at GeekyAnts. I've built a lot of things here. And thanks for the introduction, Yashasvi. So I think you already know a bit about me. Uh, and there's my Twitter handle, but I don't post anything there. But everybody adds that, so it's there. So today I'm going to talk about the need for better app builders. But don't get me wrong, I won't just plainly criticize the existing tools. I want to mainly talk about how I think we can increase the adoption of low code app builders. So let's get into it. So app builders have come a long way. I think we can agree with that. If not, like I have some data here. So this is the data by Zapier from March 2022, and this data tells which users started using no-code tools, like when the user started using no-code tools. So this is divided in like different time zones. Like 1 to 2 years ago, 30% people started using no-code tools. So what this data essentially tells you is that over 50% of no-code users started in the last year itself. So that tells you the growth that has been going on in this space, right? Now this data is for no code tools, but I would say like this is correlated with app builders in general. App builders, you can consider those as a subset of general low code tools. Low code tools can be in any domain, like automation, backend, everything. But yeah, I'm going to mostly talk about app builders here. So, what do we use app builders for? What do we build with these app builders? So, first, I think it is personal projects, or like just small hobby projects that you want to experiment with. If you want to learn a new tool, you just create something like a to do app, right? And if you have any kind of personal app that you want to build just to try things out, you build those. Then you build tools for small businesses. So for a small business, when it's not really feasible to hire a developer, like have a whole development team, you can use these tools to quickly get started, quickly just build your app and deploy that, right? And then we have internal apps. So nowadays we a lot of tools which are really helpful to build internal apps for companies. So a lot of companies, they have some data in like spreadsheets or Airtable. Airtable is also a low-code tool for like databases, you can say. So a lot of companies have that kind of data. Now they maybe just want to have internal dashboards which visualize that data, or like lets you manipulate that data. So no code tools are very good for these kind of use cases. One example I can think of is Glide. It lets you work with spreadsheet and Airtable and just build your apps with that data. It provides you nice visualizations on top of that. And for complex apps for which maybe using low code tools or like app builders is not very feasible, for those kind of apps, at least you can get a head start using app builders. Especially if you think about low code app builders, they provide you, like Sanket gave an example of BuilderX. So those kind of tools where you can design visually and get code output, and then it can go through normal development workflow. So that reduces the development time. So that can help you going faster. Next is like just to build MVP or something like a proof of concept, right? So these are the things that you can use app builders for, right? But when do we not use app builders? What's stopping us from using app builders? So first point I can think of is like with existing apps which are hand coded. Now we have to use this new term called hand coded because we have no code, low code now. So yeah, if you have those existing apps, I don't see a good amount of tools which work with existing apps like this. And yeah, consumer apps are getting more complex day by day. We have a lot more specific UX requirements, complex interactions, some specific business logic requirements, which might not be feasible with the current app builders that we have. So for those, we still might use a normal development workflow. And another point is design systems. So design systems have design guidelines, design tokens, which are shared across multiple apps, platforms. it has component libraries. So we don't want our app builders to be disconnected from design systems. So that's a very important point, I think, because right now we are seeing a lot of adoption of design systems. So if the current tools, if the current app builders don't integrate well with design systems, it's very hard to have this in our regular workflow, you can say, right? So to understand more about this problem and like how we can overcome this challenge of better adoption, let's understand what types of app builders we have. So the first type I can think of is the app builders which have their own language. These can be both no code and low code. So by their own language, what I mean is they have their own way of defining the UI, creating the UI, or defining the data models, or just creating interactions or data flow, things like that, right? So they have their own way of doing things. So people have to have specific skill sets for specifically for these tools. They have to learn how these tools works, how you define, let's say, business logic in these tools. So that's a very specific thing. And these are not suited for existing workflows, you can say, because then you'll have to hire people specifically who are experienced with these tools. One example of this is bubble.io. So this is a very good tool. It lets you build apps, but then again, what I'm saying is it has its own way of defining workflow, as you can see in this screenshot. So yeah, it has its own plugin system. So there's a way of using it. Right? Another type of app builders, you can say, are the ones which work with existing languages or frameworks. These are typically low-code app builders, and you can say these are mostly used by developers because they give you code, or they give you some ability to edit code. So this will be mostly used by developers. But in this case, designers and developers use different tools. Why I say this is these kind of tools are not very uh, easy to use for designers. They are not designer friendly, you can say. uh, Designers are used to working with design tools like Figma, uh, but still these kind of app builders can still be integrated with the existing workflow, right? Designers provide designs in Figma, and then those designs are translated into apps in using these tools by maybe developers or anyone who is used to like who works with these tools, right? So yeah, I think that's the overall. Okay. Yeah, one example of this is clutch.io. So you can create your UI using this tool, and then it gives you React code. As you can see in the screenshot, it opens up the code for this specific screen, and you can export this and then continue your normal workflow. So, what are the challenges in further adoption of app builders? These are just like challenges that I'm summing up from what I've presented earlier. First is integration with design systems, then disconnect between designers and developers. As I said, like designers can't really use these tools directly without like learning. I'm not saying they can't use it. They have to learn first. It's not in their skill set currently, you can say, right? And then uh, one more challenge is they don't work with existing code bases, and maybe they can't build complex apps right now. So there might be more challenges, but overall, and yeah, we are fixing these challenges one by one, right? The community is going towards it, but I would say, like, even if the first two challenges are solved, I would want like my team to use an app builder, I can say. if we have a proper integration with design systems, if we remove the disconnect between designers and developers, I think that's a pretty good start to adopting app builders into our current workflows. Okay, so we built this at one point. Uh, Builder X, I think Sanket now already presented it, so you know. Um, but yeah, we learned a lot from building this. Mostly like not what to do, I would say. Builder X didn't work with a design system. At that point, I don't think we had a wider adoption. And we didn't really know who we were making this tool for. Uh, so designers didn't want to switch from their existing tools. So they didn't want to go to Builder X because they were already happy with their own tools, right? And the code that was generated, we can say like that wasn't very usable. It was good code. I won't say it was bad, but like developers still weren't satisfied with the code that was being generated, and one reason for that was like the absence of design systems, right? uh, so yeah, that was about it. So now we can discuss possible solutions. One again, these are like simply for the challenges that I listed earlier. Naturally, these must be the solutions, right? Make it work with design systems, make a tool which works with design systems, the tool that is easier for designers to work with, and that provides a smooth handoff to developers, right? So it comes up that creating a tool like that, uh, just that point where we say make it easier for designers, it for that we need to add a lot of things, and that's really hard. We have tried, believe me. So what if we use existing design tool, Figma? Designers already love Figma, right? And Figma supports component libraries and design systems already, right? So what we can do is maybe generate Figma component library from your code library. Let's say you have a repository of components on the code side. Let's say you have a React Storybook where you have defined all your components. So if we could maybe bring it over to Figma as a component library, and designers use the same components to build designs, and developers use the same components for building their apps, for writing code, that might work. And Figma supports plugins, so we can also have a Figma plugin that will uh, maybe just generate code from the Figma designs. Because right, if we are generating our component library from Storybook, that is already kind of connected with the code. Now it will be slightly easier for generating code from those designs, the designs that were built using this component library, right? So if we have this thing, maybe we can use Figma for like an app builder, you can say. And if again, if this is not possible, then maybe we'll have to export from Figma to another app builder tool to add things like business logic and anything else, right? But as a start, I think we are removing one barrier where designers have to anyway create designs in Figma, and then developers have to translate those designs. So this challenge is solved here in this case, I would say. So you might be thinking this then, but yeah, I think we still have a few things here. We still have some challenges, like what if there are design iterations? What if we have to go back to Figma and then redo the designs? Will it integrate smoothly with the apps, basically the deployed app, or like the code? And do we still give that much design freedom? uh, so if I elaborate on this point, designers love their freedom. Like they just draw things on the screen, and whenever they're happy, like they'll move around things there. So that's absolute positioning. If you talk about the layouting part, and now we have auto layout in Figma, but let's be honest, designers don't use that everywhere. Most of the elements are absolutely positioned, but yeah, that makes sense. Designers need their freedom. So we'll have to think of some trade-off here, right? And the next one is responsive design. It would be hard to define responsive designs in Figma. But as I said, Figma has plugins, so maybe we can think of some way to handle responsiveness from there. And designers themselves have responsive designs which translate to responsive apps. So I would say let's do it. I think we will see a lot of innovative solutions in the future. The community is growing. Uh, we we are seeing a rapid growth in number of app builders. So I'm positive and excited for it, and I hope you all are too. Thank you.
All good. Thanks, Himanshu, for the absolutely insightful talk. You also mapped another important topic on how do we bridge the gap between developers and designers. Another problem statement that we are trying to solve other than empowering everyone to build apps. Cool. So I think we are good to go to our next talk, for which I'd like to introduce you all with Saurav Arya. He founded Just Ship It, and today he's going to talk about the rise of citizen developers. A little bit about Saurav. He's a serial entrepreneur bringing people together through products, spaces, and communities. He is on a lifelong quest to visit all the countries while working remotely, and he says that he's already done with 91 and only 104 are more to go. Hey Saurav, how are you?
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot for the invite. And yeah, it looks like I'm the one who has least idea about code because I absolutely don't code at all. All I know is no code. All right, so happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to learn something new from all of you.
Likewise, Saurya, we are super excited to have you here. Also, you're not able to see the audience we have here, but just acknowledging you on that. Hope we're good to go to
Sure.
start with.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Stage is all yours.
All right.
Stage, I meant.
Share my screen. I hope you can see my screen now. Yes. All right. Okay. Uh, all right, guys. So my name is Saurav Arya. Twitter, it's Saurav Arya. On Instagram, it's Indian Digital Nomad. A little bit about myself. So as I said, I don't know anything about code or low code. All I know is no code now, and this is because earlier I'm a mechanical engineer who got into operations and then into supply chain traceability. So in my past life, I've been working all in operations, right? And then after 5 years of 9 to 5, I felt like enough of work. I decided to take a gap year just to travel around. That was in year 2012, and that changed everything for me. Okay, I took a gap year, and then I realized that it's more fun than sitting in office, and so I decided to live my life where I can travel and work at the same time. And then I realized that in order to do that, it makes sense have small businesses which need to be remote, right? And then I figured that no code is the best way to build small businesses, be it micro SaaS, or even if you want to make a small agency, right? So I have been remote since 2009, but since 2013, I started building small businesses using no code. That time, I didn't even know that it's called no code. I got to know only here that there's a term for it, and then got deep into it, right? So I've been building communities, building products, and building agencies as well. So yes, now I work remotely and travel and work. All right, so these are some of the products and businesses I build. Just Ship It is a community of no code builders, those who are looking to learn no code. And also we host boot camp where people can get acquainted with the no code tools and they start using no code tools. Small World is a hospitality venture of mine, and Workspace is a community of digital nomads, right? So all these the products that you see here, all these are made using no code stack, and all of these I made in the last 9 months or so. So before that, I was kind of not very much familiar with all this new age no code tools and all, right? Okay, so what is no code for me? For me, it's like it's a hipster child family, you know. So it's for me it's just another word for um, it's nothing but visual programming. That's how I see it. And what I see is that uh, when it comes to building product, as you know that so far the coders are just 0.3% of the world population, right? And the rest 99.7% of the people, they had no idea how to build products because they had no idea about coding. But what's happening with the no code is now everyone is being empowered to solve their own problem, to build product, to solve problem that they care about, right? So uh, in simple terms, citizen develop all those people who are leveraging no code tools to build products, right? And so the no code movement is empowering 99.7% of the population, of the working population, who had absolutely no idea about coding. So that's the reason why I'm very bullish about the whole no code movement. And I see that it's all set to grow big. Okay. So what's happening with the no code is, I see that the way enable the drop shipping economy, YouTube and TikTok enable the creator economy, the same way no code tools are now enabling builder economy. I see students, a lot of youngsters, they are building products and they are shipping micro SaaS. They're building information product, digital product, and selling it on Gumroad, right? And like they are becoming solopreneur, right? Also, we are seeing that people are building $1 million 1% businesses using no code tools, right? So it's completely changing the way people see work, and it's also I see that it's empowering millions of people around the world, right? So I also what I notice is that with the no code tools, I see that many of the builders, they are building products which they are very passionate about. So for them, work is now becoming extension of who they are, right? So I every day I come across people who have built products just because they are passionate about it, not just to make money, because they build it because they wanted it. So yeah, that's also something I feel is very cool. Okay, so here is what is happening with the no code tool, and this is what citizen developers are doing. Like a lot of citizen developers are very much, they're self sufficient, like the coders, they in a normal situation, as you see, like there's developer and tester, and it has to, like, any product has to go through multiple stages, and the development cycle is very long, right? But with the citizen developer, it's like they are doing everything on their own, like they are kind of a one person army. um, I see that this, I can relate so much to this meme. I'm sure that those guys who are into no code space will relate to it, right? Like everything you have to do it on your own, right? So that's how it is with no code. Be it marketing, backend, product management, everything you'll have to do it on their own. And people have been able to kind of really well to build products with really good ARR. It's not just building product for themselves, but building products for the market, and some of the products are doing really good. So that's what, like, when people talk about no code, uh, sometimes people feel like, okay, it's fine for just MVP, it's just fine for basic use cases, and probably you can't build something which can be scaled. But I feel that that's not the case. We are seeing more and more examples of businesses built completely on the no code stack, and are doing really good. Here we can see some examples. For example, Dividend, they processed $1 billion of loans, and they're built completely on the no code stack. Makeup, I'm sure many of you guys would have heard of. Ben Tossell built it, and did really well. In the first year, they made around $200,000, and then they got acquired by Zapier. They have not disclosed the amount for which they got acquired, but I'm sure that it would be quite a big acquisition, right? So Makeup Ad is another good example of how something can be built completely on the no code stack, and can be scaled. Plateau is another one which raised $30 million funding. Coins is 750K. Coins is app used for managing student loans. So that also did really well. Comet raised $12.8 million. That's also built completely on the no code stack. And the Lambda School, now it's known as Bloom Tech. They are valued at more than $150 million, and they're also built on no code stack. So yeah, I see that with every month I come across some tools which are doing really good, have good MRR and ARR, and built completely on no code stack. So yes, no code, I would say, is not just for proof of concept or just for MVP stage, but it's you can build a micro SaaS or a SaaS business, and can scale it really well. So what citizen developers are building now? So what I see is that citizen developers are building even in Web3. So there are tools which enable folks to build DAOs. Aragon.org let people build DAOs. You don't need to know coding at all. People are using Third Web to build smart contracts. Then people are launching and minting NFTs using Builder, Web3 Builder. There people are generating art NFTs and using NFT generator, and also they are selling token gated content using Mintgate, etc. So there are many tools which are facilitating building, and citizen developers are leveraging it. In machine learning space, what I see is that people are using tools like Liberty.ai, Crowd.io, Clarify.ai, Peltarian.com. All these are some of the tools that came up recently, and which are enabling anyone to leverage machine learning, and build something on top of it, right? So I see that it's very promising the way no code movement is growing, and the way citizen developers are now using existing tools to build products. And in terms of market, what I see is that now no code, the whole no code ecosystem is valued at $16 billion, and it is expected that in the next 5 years, by 2027, it's going to be around $84 billion, which is more than 5 times, right? So it's all set to grow at a very fast rate, and I'm very bullish about the whole citizen developer movement that's going to come, right? So at last, all I would like to share with you guys is that if you're standing on the fence, if you're not sure whether you should start building using no code, if you're not sure whether to be a citizen developer or not, this is the right time. The stage is all set, and this is the best time. So if not now, then when? And if not you, then who? Thanks. That's about it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, Saurav. Thank you especially for bringing in the business aspect of things into the low code and no code tool scenario. I hope you stay with us for some more time. It's time for us all to take a little break. We will take a 10 minutes short break. For everyone who's here, we have arranged for some refreshments. For everyone who has joined us online, time to brew some coffee for yourself. And we'll meet again in 10 minutes. And then we have another talk lined up by Mayank, post which we'll have a panel discussion. Thank you. hope everyone's back. Can we start? All right. Welcome back, everyone, here in this room. And also, I hope all the online audience are also back to their chairs. Now we come to the final talk, which will be given by Mayank. Mayank is a part of the Native Base core team at GeekyAnts. For those of you all who do not know, Native Base is a UI component library that we have built for React and React Native. So Mayank carries a lot of experience in native base and then related experience to design system and now low-code tools and no-code tools. So Mayank, I'll call you on stage. I'll read his bio quickly. His bio says that I am a nerd for pixel perfect design who likes traveling and exploring new things in the beautiful world. And he's going to talk about potential of headless CMS as a low-code tool. Stage is all yours.
So, hello everyone. My name is Mayank, and I'm a software engineer at GeekyAnts and building some cool stuff at like NativeS. So, NativeS is the open source universal UI component library, and I'm one of the core developer, as Yashasvi mentioned. So, I've been working with NativeS from past 7 to 8 months, and today here I'm going to discuss about the potential of headless CMS as a low-code tool. I've actually narrowed down the topic of low code, no code to that of content management system, and we'll also like broaden the term CMS to include visual site builders, which are currently like moving and blending to traditional tools. So let's start with what is CMS. Considering the fact that more than 78 million websites are built with one, so what is it? So it is a software that helps user create, manage, and modify the content on a website without the need for specialized technical knowledge. It helps you build a website without need to write all the code from scratch or even know how to write the code. So like creating web pages or storing images, handling navigation, it takes care for like of all for you. So you just need to focus on more forward facing parts of your website. It's basically a dashboard where you simply like drag and drop the elements, customize it as per your need, and then publish. So that's it. No need to write HTML or CSS. So here are some of the benefits of using CMS. First is no coding. As I said, no technical knowledge required. Then comes user friendly. It's simply drag and drop, so anyone can use it. Then quick deployment, again easy to maintain, cost efficient, and extendable. Extendable as it provides you with lots of plugins and extensions. So it's SEO friendly. It will handle all your meta tags and meta properties for you, and it comes with a pre-designed templates. So it gives a head start while starting a new project. These are some of the famous CMS platforms available out there, like WordPress, then HubSpot, Drupal, Joomla, Strapi, Contentful, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, and many more. Wix. So WordPress is the most famous one and also most used one among all. Before we get into like headless stuff, let's see about the traditional approach that CMS follows. So traditional CMS comes with a head, means it provides both the backend admin as well as the front end user experience. Also from one single code base. So you get a complete like full stack web app within minutes, and it's ready to deploy and use. So basically here you configure your admin zone, then you add your content model and customize your design. And as a result, you will end up having a website. So that's what a traditional CMS do. You get a fully fledged working website ready to deploy. So, but what about like desktop apps or mobile apps or smartwatches or AR/VR applications or any IoT application that comes in the future? So here, this class of CMS faces an existential challenge. This has been getting like less and less useful because projects are no longer just about websites. So connected devices have driven the explosion in the number of screens and formats in which content can be displayed. Any single piece of content can be restructured and deployed on multiple devices and multiple platforms. So, like traditional CMS are more like normal editors, means they what you see is what you get. Like we say it WYSIWYG editors. So they are not just built to handle this level of complexity. They handle one-to-one content deployment to a single web page and can't handle the support for multi-platforms. All of this presents a significant challenge for organizations. They are using the old content management system technology, which once it was like advantageous to optimize for a single digital channel, but now it has become a problem. Like they need to maintain all separate copies for different platforms, so it's very insufficient, and also that doesn't make any sense to keep the same copy of different contents like all together. Using this model, you cannot limit or control content because you don't know where the digital content is going to be like surface next. So here comes our savior, that is headless CMS. So instead of having like traditional CMS where you configure your modal and produce a website, you just need to produce a API which you can fetch, through which you can fetch your content and consume it wherever you want. Like with this HTTP APIs, you build these different devices and application. So the goal of headless CMS is to the way it manages the content is be able to deliver this into several platforms. So headless CMS. What headless CMS do is it manages and organizes content without connected front end or presentation layer. The headless CMS is where your content and assets live. They usually content like it contains an API to distribute that content to anywhere and everywhere. So it's great for developers as well, as front end is not coupled with the backend, so they can use their like they have a freedom to choose their framework for building the front end, like React or any popular framework. So and also it's scalable, so and provides security out of the box. Also it increases your performance as the resources it needs is like very less. So let's assume like if any company wants to make an update to their like landing page, like change their product description or something, so there should be a way like they'll change it in one place and the this update will be pushed to everywhere. So this is not possible in the old CMS. So in old CMS they will just need to copy paste this same thing to 20 different systems. So that's the power of headless CMS. Basically, it works as the single source of single source of truth to all the company's content and assets. It gives you a place to manage, edit, and modify all at one place. Why headless? Because it's omni-channel content like delivery. So what headless does is it powers touchpoint across any platforms and any device. Then comes the rapid content development. This is through API. So headless CMS like Strapi, they provides API first approach that makes it lightning fast for any content development, like content uploading and all content management. So modular content and assets, as here the headless content is not connected to any front end, so it becomes modular in its own way. So it can be managed and deployed among several platforms without duplication or like refactoring. Then comes like limitless integrations. This provides like next level digital experience. It allows you to connect your content to like multiple like number of services and softwares. Here are some examples of headless CMS. First is Strapi, Contentful, and Notion. So here Notion is not the conventional headless CMS, but it can be used as one. So it was worth mentioning it here. So in native base, we have used it for deploying the blocks directly to native base website from Notion. So what Notion basically provides us is with a SDK through which we can fetch our content in front end directly. So today I'll give a short demo about Strapi. Strapi is a headless CMS technology, comes under open source license and leveraging its users to customize its JavaScript based architecture fully. It's API driven and provides an attractive and conversational graphical user interface, which we will see in few minutes. Some good things about Strapi. So Strapi offers like advanced built-in modules to support all types of major database, including MongoDB, SQLite, Postgres, and MySQL. It also comes with JWT authentication system, which authorizes every user before accessing the API. It offers automated documentation to save time. Strapi also comes with webhooks by default and allows to implement its all minor and principal operations, making the software more stable and also compatible across all cross platforms. So then Strapi provides an internationalization plugin. Like multi-language is one of the best way of increasing your engagement and increasing your conversion rate and engaging with your users. So that is all provided in Strapi itself. Then comes API customization. So whether it's REST API or GraphQL API, it provides you with an editor where you can create your schema controllers and models for API. So let's see a small example. So this is the complete new project for Strapi I created using this command. So actually, let's assume if I want to make a website like Medium, so where user will have multiple posts and can create multiple blogs, including all images and all. So I'll show a quick demo. Actually, I wanted to do it live here, but the things break. So just to be safe, I have recorded a video and I'll just play it. So this is a complete new project and I'm just booting it for the first time. So yes. Okay, so now it is running on localhost 1337. So before we start, we need to log in at admin. Like Strapi provides authentication for every services and it has like a role-based access to all your content. So here I'm logging in as a super admin. So I'll have all the access. So the dashboard that Strapi provides you. So here you can manage your content and also build some content type and access your media and all. So let's create one content type for post. So yes, I'm just giving the name for my collection and here I'm adding the fields. So my post will have the specific title, then it will have slug. It handles the slug by its own, but here just I'm giving it uh, I wanted it to be like customized. So then the rich text editor for the content, and then I'll have one banner just for image, banner image for the blog. Yes. So that's it, and I guess I need to add the relationship with the user. So each user will have multiple posts and all. So here I'm creating one relation. It will have one to many relation, like one user will have multiple posts. So yes, just renaming the field finish. Yes. So this whole schema is completed and it is just now restarting the server, basically creating all the models and migrations of the database by its own. So it takes some time, like around 5 to 6 seconds, and then it's done. So yes, so let's add some content. So here I'm creating a user first. So let's put in some random name and random email of the user and some random password. Yes, so currently no posts are available and giving the role public for the user. So yes, now let's add some posts. So here I'm creating some basic post, like giving some title, slug and content. This is the asset manager for the Strapi. So here I am uploading my assets. So it's an image, and then I'll select it and add it as a banner to my post. Yes, assigning this block to the user that we just created, and then publish. Okay, so now if we go and hit the API, so it is giving us this error as the APIs that are provided in Strapi are authenticated. So before accessing that, we need to give them the specific permissions. So for giving permission, we'll go to settings and then role specific permission. So I'm giving all the permissions to the specific post. Yes. Now if we hit the API again, so here we get all the data. But yes, all the fields are there like title, slug, content, but the banner image is missing. So for accessing the banner image, we need to pass one extra prop like populate all. So using this here, we get all the data. Like it has converted the image into several size by its own and has provided the URL. So that was Trappy. So yes, that was quick. And like we have done like set up a model, then created database schema, add controllers, do the migrations, created APIs, then handled the storage and also authentication, then pagination, all of this in just that like 5 minutes. So that was quick. So that is one good thing about the Strapi. And also like this doesn't need any technical knowledge, so any person can do this. So if any UI developer doesn't have any knowledge of backend, so here and with the help of like graphical user interface, he can create all the APIs and then use it in his front end to create a full stack app. But there are some missing pieces in this headless CMS as well. So let's talk about the developers. So developers will prefer like headless CMS as it gives them freedom to choose the framework of their own and also build their architecture, right? So they also have the thing in which they want their control for the whole code and all. So I guess code developers will prefer headless CMS. If we talk about the content creators, they will prefer a no-code solution like Wix or something because it provides them the visual editing experience. So content creators also want the full control over all their work, basically how to lay out the page, how to design things, and also how long the content will be. So it's easier for them if they have the drag and drop functionality, which we have in Wix. And then what about designers? So designers need something which follows their own corporate design system, like and also no one can break it. So they need some constraint over it. So we need a platform which aligns with the goal of all these three actors, that is developer, content creator, and designers. So what's the solution? So I guess what we really need is a development framework that allows developer to create something great like Wix, but with our own like design system and also provide some constraints over it, so nobody can break it. So and this framework should be like great with modern front end developers. Like it should contain like it should be built with famous JavaScript libraries like React and Vue, and also the backend part can be decoupled as a API service. So that's it. We need to leverage the true potential of a headless CMS and make it more powerful by giving it the visual editing experience that it needs. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Mayank. Very detailed presentation, and thank you so much for the demo as well. Okay, so now we move to the last leg of today's agenda, which is a panel discussion. The panel discussion will be joined by all three of our speakers and will be moderated by Sanket. So we'll do a quick movement of chairs. We'll bring three chairs on the stage, and once everyone is placed, along with Saurav, who's connected remotely, we'll start with the panel discussion.
Good to have you back. Can you hear us? Can Are we
Yeah,
audible? Sorry.
yeah.
Okay, great. Cool. First of all, like great talks. I know the last talk was a bit more towards developer, so I think that's the whole point of having like no code. Uh, on a very high level, what I can sense is that Saurav's talk was more towards consuming no code and building on top of no code, while Himanshu and Mayank spoke on building the no code tools.
Yeah, we can say that. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I think that's the beauty of meetups, right? Great. I don't have like a lot of questions, but one question that I can think of is something what Himanshu mentioned in his talk, and then Saurav was like, no, we can actually do something else. And Himanshu mentioned more on the side of like building MVPs using these no code tools. And sort of like, no, we can build full blown apps. And he also gave some real good examples.
Yeah.
Right. So would love to hear from maybe Himanshu first and then Saurabh about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I meant was these are the usual things that we build with no-code tools. But then again, that's from my experience, and I haven't seen like app builders being used at our company at least for like building end-to-end apps, right? But as sort of said, like these are very good examples of like the scalable apps which were built using these low-code tools, right? Or no-code tools. So I would say there is still something there missing, which we can add. So my point was there is still less adoption, and it could be more.
Okay. Makes sense. Saurabh, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I see that adoption can be increased, and that's what is needed. But I'm very kind of bullish about the way the whole ecosystem is being developed. Like I shared some example of apps which are doing really good, and they have been entirely on the no code stack, right? And apart from the example that I shared, there are many digital products and information products that has been built on just by using no code tools, and they are doing really good, right? So I've been focusing more on the business side of it because that's where I come from, right? So yes, I see that it's the whole ecosystem is growing big. In fact, one question I had, if I can ask you
Yeah, yeah,
guys
yeah.
to
Sure.
answer,
Right.
is what I see is that as I mentioned, the ecosystem is all poised to grow to $84 billion by 2027, and I see that maybe in the next 5 years we may see a unicorn uh, built entirely on no code stack, or a no code builder which becomes a unicorn.
We lost you, Saurav. I think, yeah, there's some problem. But yeah, I think we are also betting on the same thing. Like we think
Yeah.
that either a platform built on top of these no-code solutions, no-code tools, that'll probably become a unicorn, or maybe one of these no-code tools will become a
Absolutely.
unicorn. Yeah. So, what was your question, sort of? We lost you for a bit.
Sorry. So my question is that for that to happen, what do you think that what are some key things that a founder should keep in mind to make it happen? Like what could be the bottleneck? What things to keep in mind if someone is looking to build a business which could be a unicorn, either a no-code builder or build using a no-code stack?
Makes sense. I'm not sure you want to take it.
Um, I'm not really sure. I need to think.
Yeah.
If we talk about the low code solution, I think I covered pretty much the same thing in my talk. The platform that allows you to build things, that could very well be a unicorn. I mean, we have a lot to do, and as I said, like if we even solve a couple of challenges there, like the design system one, or like having designers and developers use the same tool. So even if some tool solves these kind of things, I would say it can go like it can grow a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, so on the builder side,
Yeah, on the builder side,
builder tool
but
side,
yeah, on the
okay.
tool side. Yeah,
On the
yes.
on the consumers of no code, or maybe on the no code builder side, any like you're talking about the platforms and the tools, right?
Yeah.
And not really the apps that is built using no code.
Yeah. So the apps using those tools, I would say if the tools improve, then the apps
Correct.
using
Yeah. Okay.
built using those tools, they'll definitely have like more possibility
Okay.
to grow or to scale.
Makes sense. Yeah. Mike, any points there?
I also think the main thing in the no-code tool is that earlier it was used just for like building small apps and all, but now it supports all the complexities and all. So yes, it's good to go for no-code tool, and also it depends on the requirements. Like if you want something very custom, which you are sure that you won't find any plugin or extensions, then the thing is that you should go for code. But your requirements fits for the no code, then yes, whole business or whole platform can be built with
Makes
no code.
sense. Yeah. I think that's the thing about developers and founders choosing coding tools over no code tools is the amount of freedom and flexibility that they get in the first place. So I think that's one of the things right now. And as Himanshu said, once these tools improve and give that flexibility and the power that coding tools provide as of today, then probably we'll see unicorns coming in both the things. I assume, like first the tools part, and then the level two, the apps built using those tools. Great.
Right. One thing I would like to mention here, if I can,
Sure.
Sanket, is
Yep.
that I see that most of the tools which have been built on no code and they are doing really well are primarily using Bubble at the moment. Many of them are using Bubble, right? And one thing that I hear from coders or low coders is that, you know what, I would prefer a tool which also lets me export the code, right? If a low coder or a coder is working on it, right? So I am very bullish on tools like Builder X. I remember we had a discussion about it, and now that I got to know more about it, I see that that's what is needed. I do see that that's a more inclusive tool which lets a no-code developer as well as someone who's into low-code as well as coder work on it. So I guess tools like this will probably help more businesses uh, build products which can be scalable.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the lock in, that's what we call it, lock in. Like, if these no code tools let you, like, give you the freedom of not getting logged by their systems, then I think there's a huge possibilities of developers getting involved. And I think the lock in should be somewhere else. Like, for example, if you look at Firebase and Superbase, for example, Superbase is a database solution, backend as a service database solution, which is similar to Firebase, and it's open source. So the lock-in is like at the data level when you want to scale the system. If you want to get the ease of that, similar is the concept of like Vercel. Vercel has an open source Next.js framework, but it helps you with the traffic handling and scaling up the request and the traffic and all those things. So the lock-in is at the wrong level, I would say. If we can move the lock-in to a different place, maybe at the data level or some service level, then probably I think there's a lot more possibilities that we can. Himanshu, what do you think?
That absolutely makes sense, and that's a very good point.
Mhm.
I would say uh, the one problem we can see is like developers not getting involved in no code tools. Just now, like I was having a discussion with one of the members in the audience, and they were like, why would a developer want to use a no code tool? So I think that's valid
Yeah.
for now.
Mhm. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. I think it boils down to we forget the actual reason why we code, because we want. I mean, code for fun is a different thing altogether. If you want to code for fun, then you can do it. But if you want to code to actually build things and make it useful, then you wouldn't have that question, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ultimate goal of coding is to build things, right? Like, and if you have that thing in your mind that you want to build things instead of having fun with code, then probably it makes sense. So I think that also takes us to the next question: will it kill our jobs?
I have something to share on that.
Go ahead, Saurav.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following discussion on how some coders, they don't like code. They say that, hey, it's just for prototyping, just for MVPs. It's not something serious. But what I see is that actually, no code is helping coders solve hard problems. Like coders now don't need to do the usual things. Let usual things be handled by no code developers, right? And now they can focus on the hard problems, right? So it's giving coders time to work on things that really matters. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, sort of. That reminds me of a tweet that we are developers. We would reinvent how to design the same button with a different paradigm and get paid more than doctors and those who are actually doing the job. So that's the thing. I mean, people should not be getting paid for redoing the same thing over and over again. I mean, hard problems should go behind a tool like this, or maybe like GitHub Copilot, for example. That does give some codes, right? So yeah, I totally agree with you, Saurav, on that. How about you guys?
Yeah, same. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Great. I don't have anything else right now, but I think it's a good start for this conversation. And probably as we build this community and bring in more people today, since it's being a part of a long weekend, very few audience showed up. And so yeah, any final questions or discussion points?
We could take questions from like I
The
know we
audience.
have very few people, but
Hmm.
if someone has any question,
Any
hello?
questions? Saurabh? No? Go ahead.
Uh, hi, my name is Saurav. Do you think the VR environments would be built with no code uh, tools,
Mhm.
or would they? Because if we think of VR environments in the 3D world, there are developers who would make dynamic 3D worlds, and then would there be backend developers who would be programming those environments, or would this be more easier that the UI developers have all the powers to make everything what they should be useful for.
Mhm. Okay, good question. So VR and no code thoughts.
So I guess the backend part of the AR applications can be handled with the no code, but for front end, again, that also depends. So if you want to make like specific components which you can use in your like 3D environment or what, for that components you can have the low code tool or no code tool. But if you want to build the entire environment, then that's the thing that need like more exploration. So, but backend part can be done, I guess.
Yeah, I would say we can do a lot of things visually. I mean, with VR, why not? Like,
I guess
these are, yeah.
if we can like be in the environment and click something and do code on it, that
Oh,
would be,
Are you talking about that? Okay. Okay.
that would be amazing.
Again, it goes back to the same thing. Like, why? Like, do we need to code there in a VR environment to again build something for the VR environment? Like,
Yeah, I guess that's how Linux was built, right? We
Mhm.
built C, then we built Unix,
Mhm.
then Unix was when built, we built C again. That's how it was built.
Okay.
No, I think that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
if you're building for VR, why not be in a VR environment?
Yeah.
It could make
Yeah.
sense for the visual stuff,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. I was thinking more in terms of like no code, not really code in that, but bring in a few elements and then design it. I was thinking it more of like maybe 3D modeling in VR.
yeah.
But then I guess our imaginations will explore as we get into the world. We will think into more dimensions.
Yeah.
Like why can I take in this chair and make something else?
Makes
Or,
sense. Yeah. Saurav, any thoughts?
Yeah, so what I see is that the way we have visual programming, we might have something called audio programming. So we'll get into the audio verse. It's like voice commands which will help people build uh, in AR environment as well as in VR environment. So yeah, I'm not a developer, but these are some of the thoughts that I come across, that audioverse could be a thing. Like at the moment, we communicate just using our thumbs mostly, isn't it, on our phone, or using fingers. But yes, I think that's not the very, I would say, efficient way to communicate, right? We already see some signs of audioverse, like of course, Amazon Echo is there and Siri is there, and those devices are there. But if there is a chances of that becoming big, and we might have some tools which will help people build using audio command itself. Is what I think.
Makes makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
If I
Okay.
remember, Sanket, I think you had that idea at one point where, like you said, we can have a text description of
Yeah.
some basic app, and
We
we
actually
can
did
have,
that. Like we built a little chatbot which was coding for us, and you could say that build a login screen, and it would actually code the login screen for you. And then we would say something like it was also a bit context based, that design a box and then nest a button inside that box, something like that. Somebody did experiment, I think, at one point. So I think that can be connected with
yeah.
audio, something like Alexa or Siri. Good stuff. I think I like the direction of this entire thing, where the coding, no code, and all these ecosystem is growing. Any final comments? How do you feel about this thing? Maybe what's the future like?
I think I agree with Saurav when he says that he's bullish about these
Okay,
no-code tools. So I would say the same.
Mayank.
Like same, the thinking for low code is not changing, but the low code tools are changing. So we need to change the thinking towards low code, and we could use it for the very complex apps or platforms. So low code or no code is not just about simple landing page or something. We
Yeah,
can build like
real complex things.
yes, real complex things.
Saurav, you have already mentioned, but final comments on that?
Yeah, my hot take is that I see we will see rise of solopreneurs. More and more people will be working for themselves, building micro SaaS and digital product using no-code tools. So, um,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah,
that's gonna
good
be.
stuff. Yeah, I would like to say something for developers. Like, it feels weird, like no code for developers, and they feel like not being in that particular thing. So you shouldn't feel it like that. I would say that developers should adopt no code as well and see what they can contribute back to it instead of feeling offensive about it. But yeah, let's do it. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you so much, Saurav, and thank you so much,
Thank
all of
you.
you, and Yashasvi. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay, so we've come to the end of this meetup today. Thank you so much, Saurav, for joining us remotely. Thank you so much to the speakers here, Mayank, Himanshu, Sanket. Thanks to all of you who joined here in person and to those who joined online. I hope it was truly valuable and a good use of your time this Saturday afternoon. We hope to see you again, and we'll keep conducting meetups like these. Uh, the form or the medium and the scale will keep varying, but we hope to keep discussing about everything new in terms of technologies in the space of web and mobile development with you all. So see you soon again. I'll close the event now. Thank you so much. Thank you.